Hello guys, and welcome again to this channel. Today we are going to have a narration on The Old Man and His Children, retold by Jean Watson. Kamau sat on his three-leg stool in the shade of the spreading mugumo tree. On its fig-like fruits, mouse birds and green parrots were quietly feeding. The old man sat very still with his eyes closed, but he was not asleep or even at peace. How could he be at peace when the raised voices of his twin grandsons could be heard all over the compound? Kamau sighed at the sound which disturbed him even more than the insects which kept trying to settle on his head and shoulders. At least he could drive these away with his horsehair fly swat. It should have been peaceful in the compound, for the women and old folks were inside their huts, and the young men had gone hunting. But it was not, for Mwangi and Njoroge were arguing as usual. "You should help me move the cattle," shouted Mwangi. "I'm busy," Njoroge shouted back, as he went on chasing his hoop. "If you help me with the cattle now, I will help you with the milking tomorrow morning," Mwangi called out after him. "Huh," snorted Njoroge, "you and your promises. Even if I help you with the cattle, you would find a way of getting out of helping me with the milking." "I would not." "Would. Wouldn't." The argument continued until Mwangi saw that he was getting nowhere and began noisily and grumpily to get on with his job. With a great deal of shouting and whistling, he drove the cattle into their new enclosure. Then he returned to the compound feeling very hot and tired. The sight of Njoroge coolly continuing with his game of hoopstick was the last straw. Mwangi rushed over to him and kicked the hoop with all his might. It went spinning madly away, and Njoroge shouted and lashed out angrily at his brother. Soon, blows and insults were flying to and fro between the two boys. At this, the twins' mother rushed out of her hut to pull the boys apart, box their ears, and give them a good scolding. As she stalked back to her hut, she called out to them, "One more quarrel from you, and your father will hear about it." Silenced at last, the boys stood and glared furiously at each other. Having heard and seen everything, Kamau now called out, "Come, Njoroge, come, Mwangi, I have a story for you." The boys turned and walked slowly across to the three, their faces still angry and sullen. Njoroge flung himself down beside the old man's stool and began to draw pictures in the dust with one fast and furious forefinger, while Mwangi sat hugging his knees. Kamau spoke in his old, quiet man's voice. Once there was an old man who had 7 sons. They should have been his pride and joy, but they were not. And why? This is because they quarreled and fought all the time, giving their father no peace. At his feet, Njoroge's dash drawing became even more feverish, and Mwangi tightened his grip on his legs and pressed his face against them. One day, Kamau continued. The old man asked his sons, to gather around, for he had something to show them. So they sat around their father, wondering what he would show them. But all he had in his hand were 7 sticks. As the boys watched, their father tied these firmly together. Then he handed the bundle to his oldest son and said, "Try and break that." The oldest son strained with all his might to try and break the sticks, but he couldn't break even a single one. The same thing happened as each of other brothers was handed the bundle. The bundle could not be broken, and each stick remained intact within it. Then the father untied the bundle and handed one of the sticks to his oldest son. "Now try and break that," he said. The oldest son took the stick and broke it easily. The same thing happened as each of the other brothers was handed one of the remaining sticks. By the end, every stick had been broken. The old man paused before continuing. "Now, do you understand what I have shown you? You could break the sticks when they were tied together, for then they were strong. But now, how easily you broke them when they were separated, for then they were weak." Kamau stopped speaking for a moment. He stretched out his arms and gently laid a hand on the head of each of his silent grandsons. "Njoroje, Mwangi," he said. "It is the same with people as with sticks. Our village is strong, for we all work together and live in peace. If we were to fight and quarrel among ourselves, how easily would our enemies defeat us?" Kamau put his head back in his lap and closed his eyes. When he spoke again, his voice was almost a whisper. "This old one has told you the tale of another old one. You may find wisdom in it if you wish. Now go, sons of my son, for I am very tired." The boys stood up, their faces no longer angry and sullen, but ashamed and thoughtful. Then they walked quietly away, leaving their wise old grandfather to fall peacefully asleep on his 3 legs too, in the shade of the spreading mugumo tree. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. If you like what I do, click the like and the subscribe button. Until next time, see you again.